And we are live, and we're live again. It's an overload of superb people today. We are overwhelmed by. So we've had people in the UK, we've had people from Australia, and now we have Kristen. Whereabouts in the world? You're on the other side of the pond.
I'm on the other side of the pond.
Whereabouts are you, Kristen?
I am in Indianapolis, Indiana. So if you're familiar with the Indy 500,
yeah,
that's right around the corner from where I am.
Yeah. Do they make a lot of noise, those cars?
Oh, they do. They do.
Yeah.
So it's very strange seeing the race with no people. I mean, they weren't allowed to have any fans. So.
No. Well, I've actually been to Indianapolis, believe it or not, once. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah. Not to go to the. This is so silly. Not to go to the Indy 500 to see an accountant. Can you believe it?
Sounds fun.
To see an accountant.
Really? In Indianapolis?
In Indianapolis, yeah. So it was a few years ago. I was trying to get a business off the ground in the States. And somebody said, there's this fantastic accountant, lawyer, I can't remember. You need to see him, and you need to go and see him in Indianapolis, and he'll set it all up for you. And so I did. I went to Indianapolis. And unfortunately, the business never worked out. So we didn't. But he told me that he was, I think he was about late 50s, and he told me that he'd had his last holiday, the last proper holiday, or first proper holiday as an accountant the year before, more than just a weekend. Like, you guys work so hard.
There's a lot of workaholics here in the US. A lot of workaholics hustling for their worth and value and significance. It's really an epidemic.
And we do not want our kids to turn out like that, do we?
We do not. And if we do not do our own work, our own deeper work, we transmit what is not healed onto our kids. And that's pattern we don't want to recreate, because then our kids don't learn to rest, recharge, and rejuvenate.
That's a wonderful segue into your stuff, Kristen. Because right now I'm thinking, oh no, the viewers are going to be thinking, oh no, not another thing that I have to do. So we are going to be really gentle with you for the next 20 minutes. Kristen's got another call on the hour. So she is, I'm sure she's going to be somebody that's overwhelmed, somebody that seems to me from first impressions to be overloaded with love, is going to pass that love from Indianapolis right across the world, where people are who are tuning into live to see us, and be gentle. But I'm sure that that's probably your middle name, isn't it?
I try to be compassionately direct. So what I do is I hold space for people to explore with curiosity. And that's what I want to teach people to do for their kids. Curiosity is a gift. And when we are curious, we give the permission to our kids to be curious. And it's one of the most important pieces, I think, of parenting to offer a child, is let them be curious and explore, ask questions, be inquisitive, because then they get a sense of security within themselves and a genuine, I'd say, zest for being alive.
Yeah. Beautiful sentiment. Beautiful sentiment. And the thing that was popping into my head is, what if parents and kids could be curious about what this back to school is going to be like? With that, confident, pretty obvious, but curious, what about, I'm curious about what you're going to say about that, because I love the big picture that you're sharing. And I promise not to reduce you to 5 ways to make your child more curious. Buy my book.
People like the step me, bullet point me, give me the steps, and I'm good. They want the tips and tricks. They want the tips
they ever
and
work?
tricks.
Those bullet points?
Yeah, I've been doing a mental health Monday every other Monday here in the US with the mayor of our town. And these are folks that never have done any kind of some of them have not done any work around themselves or mental health. So I really work on some basics. So the basics are some deep breathing, so they can learn to ground and get centered. And then when we feel safe, we feel secure in curiosity. If we don't feel safe, that can feel very scary and threatening as adults. And so for children, when we can offer up, curiosity leads to confidence. Curiosity leads to contentment. Curiosity leads to compassion. Curiosity leads to clarity. So we'll often be stuck in loops, like children can have a lot of anxiety. When they are able to process what's really going on the inside, then we can acknowledge it, and that can help them learn better. So if they're stuck in anxiety, they're not taking in the information, they're not learning, and it's scary to be curious then because they feel stupid, they don't want to look stupid, they don't want to be shamed, they don't want to be looking as if they don't know the answer. And so then that shuts down that curiosity, and now they're shut down internally. So really, curiosity is a huge piece of what I help people to do. And in terms of stepping it, first, I work on the breathing. Yeah. Secondly, I work on really becoming aware, because a lot of us, we're so unconscious. Like, how many times have we driven someplace or even walked to someplace and we're like, oh my gosh, especially with driving, did I stop at that stop sign? No, I don't even know, because we're just sleepwalking through our lives. And when we can encourage curiosity within ourselves, we encourage it within our children, and they feel safe enough to question, to ask questions, to explore emotionally, to, really say why. Because, when they start asking us questions and we're busy, we're like, I've got 20 things to do. Well, we can take a breath and attune and really look at the child with loving eyes, tender eyes, and say, tell me, what are you curious about? Tell me more about your questions. We create space. And whether we're a parent, a teacher, a grandparent, a friend, a neighbor, when we create that space for people to feel safe enough to tell us what's really going on, or what they're questioning, or what they're scared about, what a place to create security. And if we all did that, and then we acknowledged what the child shared with us, that helps them make transitions. That helps them feel safe enough to make transitions, because transitions are hard. They're hard for adults, and they're challenging for kids, especially with unknowns. So getting curious and explaining what maybe to expect helps the nervous system settle.
I've been sitting here thinking, I've been waiting to jump in on that.
I saw that. I was like, Simon has something to say.
So I think maybe something about what you talked about, becoming more conscious, made me become conscious. I was listening to kind of like interrupt or wrap you on to the next question, or so it sounds to me like this is in the moment. This is in the moment stuff, catching our own stuff in the moment, like I just did. So I put my hand up and said, so yeah, you have to do it it's on the different side of the camera. I put my hand up and I said, I lacked some consciousness there. I became unconscious. Instead of going where Kristen wants to take this, I was like, I need to interrupt her and move her on to the next bit. So my question would be, if we were summing that up, it would be becoming curious about what our child is thinking about going back to school.
Yes. Yes. Well, I would be curious. So this is where I would jump in and go, I'm curious as to where you kind of started feeling like I'm not present anymore. You know how you said I was thinking about the next question?
So I saw myself nodding.
Yes.
Like, oh yes, come on. Time's up.
We're running. We got to get this.
We've got to get this going. Because I normally actually, I get my wife kind of like pulls me up on being too slow to talk to stuff. too slow to get the words out. But as a host, I'm nodding you along. You've told me you've got another client. We've only got 50 minutes. So, and then the next thought that pops into my head is, well, this doesn't. Kristen's not. This isn't a Simon coaching session for Simon. What the hell are we doing? The people are going to turn off in droves. Why am I listening to this guy talking about his consciousness? I guess we're just playing with it, aren't we?
We are. The thing that's beautiful about this, how many parents want to hurry their kids? This is perfect. How many parents like, we got to go. You got to get your shoes on. We got to get packed. We got to go. Next thing. We're looking at the time and then we're out of attunement. It's so common. This is a perfect example of when we transition to school and our children, we're trying to be on time and we're thinking of the next thing we want to say when they're talking. Isn't this perfect? To me, I'm like, this is a great example. This is how it really looks in real life.
It is.
Isn't it? And it's hard to be totally present and attuned when we're thinking about the next thing or we're on a time crunch.
Yeah.
So I think it's perfect. It's a perfect example. And a lot of people will relate to this because we constantly feel like we want to get our thing out or we're in a hurry.
Yeah. Oh, I've got another one back to my Indianapolis story, right? Towards the end and it wasn't an accountant. That's pretty boring. It was worse than that. It was a lawyer, as I remember it now. So we were having this conversation over lunch, and he was telling me that he hadn't been on vacation for more than 4 days since he left law school or whatever, and he was 58 and he'd done his first holiday. And I was really interested. He was telling me about seeing gorillas in Rwanda, and then I noticed him actually looking at his watch.
Yeah.
Or losing interest in the conversation. And because of his logistics. And when he did that, I just felt, you're some sort of muppet, mate. I thought, sorry, I've come over from the UK. I've had the meeting. I've flown this time. I've come over. I've got on a flight from New York to Indianapolis. I can't remember, a couple of hours flight. I stayed overnight to see him. I had a meeting in the morning, and I felt sorry for the guy. The fact he hadn't had more than a 4-day holiday in 3 weeks. Not 3 weeks. In like 30 years, I felt, God, you are a workaholic. But I lost empathy with the guy when it was clear to him that he had something else to do. You know, he'd allowed they charge by 10 minutes, don't they? The solicitors, the lawyers, they charge by 10 minutes. They've got to account for every 10 minutes, and they're kind of like, they're brainwashed in that way. That's the culture that they bring out, and we're all brainwashed we're all unconscious to a certain degree. We're all clock watching, time watching, but it ain't the foundation of a great relationship, whether that's with a client or whether that's with your child. That clock watching, it's nuts, isn't it?
Because you don't feel seen. You don't feel important. You don't feel like you matter. You don't feel connected with. You don't feel attuned to. You feel unimportant. I mean, that's really the end result. So that makes sense when somebody's, and this is the thing I see a lot with parents now. Yeah, hold on. Just a second. I mean, we're on this. And what happens is the child, it's a misattunement. It's a fracture in connection, which doesn't build confidence in kids. So the more attunement we have, the more presence I have, the more I see somebody, and I really try to see my kids, and the more I see somebody, the more confidence that builds, because they feel like they matter, they feel important, they feel loved, they feel tended to.
And can I put the two things together? Because I love putting things together. But I can feel this, 3,500 miles away, right? I can feel this grounding. I can hear this grounding, and I can hear you dropping into that space. And I just wanted to come up because I've done, like you, I've done done my own work, and my own work led me to do the work I do with kids. I would guess it has done for you to a certain degree. Yeah,
absolutely.
This is a barrier to our curiosity, because if we're looking at our phone, then we're not being curious. We can't be looking at our phone and be curious about what's going on for our kid at the same time. The two do not.
And I can't see their face. So when I saw your face, I can watch your eyes. I can watch your facial expressions. I can watch your breath. I can watch your smile, which masks now can make it a little harder, but I can still see in someone's eyes. I can see their breath. And when I am fully attuned to my child, there's no greater gift that you can possibly give another human being than your 100% attention to them. And it's hard to do. This is work. It's important we look at someone's face, your child's face, and really connect with them. Look at what's going on with them. So if I'm on my phone, how does this feel right now? Okay, Simon. Yeah, okay. I mean, you would probably feel totally differently about me.
Yeah. Well, but it's in the experience, isn't it? And the thing is, so I'm looking at my camera, right? So I'm looking at my camera, so you are that, it's the opposite side, right? So your nose, okay, the center of your face is about aligned with the center of my computer, and you are about 3.5 inches lower down. Your nose is 3.5 inches below my camera. I'm looking into my camera now. Do you feel that I'm looking at you?
That's an interesting point you make, because
do I? Yeah.
It doesn't feel too much different, but I do know it feels very different for a lot of people. So when I look in the camera, it feels very different than when I'm looking at you. But in order to attune to you, because you're in front of me and you're important to me, it does feel, it's hard to connect with you then if I'm looking at the camera.
I'm just going to do a little bit more experiment here. So I'm looking at your eyes now. So I'm looking at your eyes now. Is that better?
Let me just check in with my body, which is what I'd invite everybody to do. Check in with your body, check in with your felt sense.
Yeah.
Okay, now look at the camera and let me see the difference.
Now I'm looking at the camera.
Yeah, the camera is a difference.
Which
one do you lose attunement with me when you look at the camera?
Oh, okay. Now this is in danger of going too much into detail here, but I feel that you've created enough space so that I can go either way. I prefer to be looking at you, yeah, but I'm more actually bothered about your reaction. So I want you to be comfortable. So I'm just intrigued as which works better, when I'm looking up or when I'm looking at you in the eyes? I
still feel connected either way.
Okay.
Because I feel your energy. So it is, though, when you're looking at a child, and let's say you're looking through a FaceTime or you're looking through a camera, when you're talking to them, you're going to miss. Like if I look in the camera, there is a sense of connection probably on your side. I'm missing cues, though, when I do that. I'm going to miss cues of their eye contact, their breath, their facial expressions. That's what makes it hard over cameras, because I'm missing the important cues of attunement.
Okay.
And what I teach a lot is attunement. And I love this experiment. So you can try it on. You can check in your nervous system. Now I'm looking in the camera, the difference between the two.
Well, I could tell, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It works better for me when
Mm-hmm.
you've been looking at me in the eye most of the 23 minutes we've been on. You've been looking at the eye, and that's worked better. I could feel you shifting to look at the camera, and for me, it's way better when I'm looking at you in the eyes. When the other way around, as an experiencer,
It is. And
Yeah.
so this is important about building confidence with our child. It's the number one thing I teach. It is the absolute number one thing I teach with confidence is curiosity. When I can lead with self-regulation and curiosity with my child, I create connection, which creates confidence, which creates its security. That's what confidence is. It's feeling secure in the world. It's okay to have your own thoughts, feelings, and opinions. It's safe to do that. And it's okay for you to tell me the truth. I can handle it. I'm not going to shame you. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to tell you all the ways you're wrong. I'm going to hold space for you to process them. And it's the number one piece I teach. And it's something most of us didn't get because our parents didn't know this. They didn't know, put everything down. Now you may say, give me a minute and then come back. You're going to turn your body to your child. No phone, no doing the dinner, even if it's for 1 minute. Look at him in the eyes and say, sweetie, I really care about you and I want to hear what you have to say. How are you feeling? Or what do you want to tell me? Or whatever it is. And then you're going to say, thank you so much for sharing that with me. Thank you for sharing that. That's what builds confidence. And doing it consistently, not every now and again. It's a consistent way you show up with your child. And it's something that we didn't get. And what a gift. And I not only with my kids, but I try to do this intentionally with anybody that's in front of me. You do matter to me and you are important and your feelings matter. So I'm going to be completely attuned, and it takes a lot of energy and it's worth it. It would rehab so much in this world if we were taught how to do this and felt safe to do it.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I know it's a lot to take in and digest.
I love everything that you've said. I'm just going to I've got a slight difference of opinion on the fact that it's hard. Because to me, it's the most natural thing.
Because you've done your work. For people that have had a lot of trauma,
you think, yeah,
and haven't, it can feel very hard. Just because I work with a lot of trauma. And people that have had severe neglect, abuse, it is hard because they think they're doing it. They think I am looking, but they're really not. It's vulnerable to look at someone in the eyes. It's very vulnerable. So for some, it comes naturally, and this is no big deal. For others, it is hard. And I don't want to, I really do want to honor that.
Yeah.
It is work, and it is work even for me because I'm busy. I got stuff going on. And for me to just put the phone down, I have to be super intentional.
Yeah.
Very intentional because we have a lot going on. We have a lot in our head. To be present with someone takes a lot of energy, especially our kids. I want to honor the fact that it can be hard at times, especially when we're under high stress or duress and we're overwhelmed and we're drained and we're tired. It is sometimes hard to be present.
That's for sure. I was just, I see we're up against the clock again.
We are. Here we are, full circle.
So, where can people find out more about you, Kristen?
So you can go to Kristen, KRISTEN Boice.com. There's plenty of free information. There's a free journal if you want to really work on this piece of just attunement and building confidence with your kids. It's a free kind of journal guide, if you will. I also have a Close the Chapter podcast, and I have 71 episodes all about this work free. And then on Instagram and Facebook, you can go to Kristen D. Boice, and I'm right there with a lot of free content. Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the, so people can see it, Kristen, with the D.
With the D in there.
With the D in. So if you and check out the podcast. I'm going to listen to your podcast too.
Thank you, Simon.
I'm a big podcast fan because I only read. I mean, I'm listening to stuff out, a couple of hours a day in the car and stuff when I'm walking the dog, because you can listen and do other stuff. I only read when I'm on holiday, so I'm a big fan of podcasts. So can I get a link to your podcast off your site?
You can. There's a link under the podcast, and you can just copy and paste it there. So if you go to KristenDBoice.com, it's right there. And it's on iTunes and any podcast platform. Just close the chapter.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant.
Thank you so much, Simon.
Soon, yeah?
Yes, I was so grateful for this opportunity. It was a joy to speak with you. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. Yeah. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks a lot. Yeah. Lovely to speak with you.
Lovely to speak with you. Bye, Simon.
Bye.